discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpeon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Atiku and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, with the sport.
And it's Hakim Ziyech who puts the Atlas.
Every headline.
In a nation full of questions,
In a world filled with noise, the truth needs a voice.
The policies that shapes our world and the economy that determines our future.
Every hour, every day, the grapevine keeps buzzing. And together, we are committed to telling the stories that shape our world, because your voice is our focus.
Don't forget, our voice matters the most. Let us come together and share our concerns.
Mr. Ofamiloni, and here's to VOP TV. Keep watching, stay tuned, do not touch that dial.
Arararara, my name is Made Kuti and you're watching VOP TV. Keep watching.
Welcome, my name is Zika Davis. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, boys, viewers, everybody, boys and girls. This is VOP TV. Do you know what that means? Voice of the People TV. You don't have a voice, don't come here. You better make sure your voice is heard.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count. It's awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight On Voice of the People Television, let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
In a world where power shifts its every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
It's a beautiful evening, and I welcome you to Political Lens on Voice of the People Television. I am Chukwuma Okoro. Now, on the show today, focus on Southeast political alignments ahead of 2027 general elections. And when we move away from that, Atiku will not secure ADC ticket in 2027. Now, this is coming from El-Rufai. Let's bring in our guests, and we've been joined in the studio here in Lagos, where we are broadcasting from, by Dr. Peter Anosike. Dr. Anosike is a philosopher, journalist, business consultant, and political affairs analyst. Good evening to you, Dr. Peter Anosike.
Thank you for having me.
Beautiful. Good to have you, sir. I appreciate your presence. We have also been joined virtually by Dr. Kachi Ononuju, Dr. Kach, as I call him. He's a historian, researcher, director general of the Heritage Center in Abuja, who appears on this show in the capacity of a political affairs analyst. Good evening to you, Dr. Kach, and good to see you once again, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your presence, sir. Now, let's run into it. Not a few analysts have argued that the Southeast should seek strategic alignments ahead of the 2027 general elections. They say that politics is about negotiation and access to power, not emotion or protest votes. They also suggest the region has historically supported parties without gaining lasting political influence or development benefits. While some support backing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and remaining aligned with the party at the center to stay relevant in national decision-making, others question its viability, insisting that support for Peter Obi in 2027 is the only gateway to a president of Igbo extraction in this dispensation. While many analysts also warn against supporting another northern candidate so soon after President Muhammadu Buhari, citing Nigeria's informal power rotation understanding. While this debate rages, the emergence of Igbo businessman Obinna Iyebu, popularly known as Obi Kubana, as the coordinator of the City Boy Movement, CBM, Southeast Region, a role to lead the youth-oriented support group for President Bola Tinubu's 2027 campaign and re-election, with a focus on mobilizing, educating, and empowering young Nigerians in the Southeast region, is seen by many as a direct stab on Peter Obi's back and his ambition. Well beyond Iyebu, many Southeasterners feel concerned that the harshest critics of Peter Obi in the 2023 general election were from the Southeast, including his state governor, Chukwuma Soludo, who has not stopped attacking him. Now, Dr. Kach Ononuju, let me start with you. As usual, opinions on the direction the Igbo nation should take in 2027 is varied. Let's have your own position on this matter. What do you think? Give us a broad overview on where we are coming from and how far we have traveled and the direction we should take in this dispensation, talking about the 2023 general election, with particular focus on the Southeast.
I think the Igbos have done very well. They're doing very well. It is because of they're doing very well that everybody is very reactive towards them. Economically, they've excelled. Political calculations, they have led the way for other Nigerians to follow. And you need to understand these issues are big advantage in Igbo land. And we then got the APC party, that was a party I should say that's where I would take it from. The fact that Igbos also did what I would call well at the election where Mr. P2B ran, and the Igbos showed him that they could follow. And that's the reasons why you're having all this kind of reactions from political parties that have not included the Igbo. Look at the APC under Buhari and also Tinubu. They have embarked on nepotism, weaponized nepotism. So if it is now coming to the east and you're looking for Igbos who will come and support what you call city boy, what's this called, movement, is not a political action committee. It's just noise. It has not, okay, you're calling the Igbos in business. Of course, they need to attach themselves to political parties. I see nothing wrong with that. So the Igbos who seek to gain political friendship with the APC, with any party, can do that. But when it gets to the time of voting, they will choose who to vote for. They would vote for their own personal interests, so that Nigeria will know that they are a powerful voting bloc, which is what has happened. If it were the time of just write the results, but you can see with the U.S. involvement, you will not rely too much on writing results. So you need to try and go out and win the election. And to win, you need to appeal to the people. So if you have been targeting them with nepotism, you might now start to undo that nepotism. Okay, the only place you will remember the Igbo is not in issues of clapping. That's what it is. Campaigns are claps. You clap for the champion who you want to sell. But when you start sharing the offices, are you being calculated into positions that will share the loot, the offices of spoils of office? And that's important thing. And since we have seen the APC has not allowed the sighting of seaports in the east, the APC has in Lagos run a program of voter suppression against Igbos. They've also been known to destroy Igbo properties. These are the areas you have to start. If you want us not to feel you're just hiring our boys to be clappers, stop the policies that destroys Igbo houses and buildings and places of business in Lagos. Stop voter suppression targeted against Igbos, because that is against the law. So if you're openly violating our rights, violating our spaces, violating our security, you can't expect that just because it has reached time for clapping and you then bought us some clapping, lights, and I will be now very, very excited at the brightness of the light and we'll forget the truth of where we're coming from. We seek inclusion in the calculations of our brothers from the north, most especially the Fulani, and then from the southwest, the Yoruba. Do include us when you are sharing things when you are in office. Don't just come to recruit us for the clapping.
Okay, all right.
Campaigning.
All right, now Dr. Cash, talking about recruitment during clapping, during campaigns and all of that, a lot of people feel concerned that, well, if you say that it is no longer business as usual at the time of writing results and votes are going to count now, some people feel that recruiting somebody like Obinna Iyebu, Obi Kubana, cuts into the heart of that asset, that youthful asset at the disposal of the Igbo nation. And that if their mindset, is changed, and mind you, Obi happens to be some form of a role model for the Igbo youth, and that useful asset, that very critical asset, that population, They are using now people like Obi Kubana, Obi Nayebu as soft power against that youthful population, that asset. How would that lend the Igbo nation, to remain cohesive, in trying to galvanize support for a president of Igbo extraction? I think that's the concern of many people. Is it that they will now use our people more like use and dump? You recall that when the president came to the southeast Enugu, to be precise, to campaign in 2022, he said, well, if you don't vote for the APC, which they didn't, and you got a soaked slice of bread, and that is what the Igbo nation seems to be getting under this administration. And here we are again, ahead of 2027. They are recruiting our young men, for that same role, to use them and dump them again. How does that speak to the fact that, well, the Igbo nation, they are united in looking for a unique direction, a direction that will give them something meaningful in the commanding heights of Nigeria's political life?
Say they are being used and dumped, no? They are being used, but they are also gaining visibility and legitimizing themselves in the political space. Obinna Iyebu is a friend of mine. He did not succeed in using his popularity to make sure his junior brother got elected when he ran in the last election for House of Reps. It's not so. I think it's just a branding thing. The APC knows that it has done wrong by not including us in sharing of offices equitably nationally. And that's why you see them playing this catch up. So I don't think it is wrong for our boys to agree. There's nothing wrong. Let them promote as many of our boys as possible as brand ambassadors. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Kaj. I'll come back to you. We'll come back to you in the course of the conversation. Let's come to the studio where we'll have Dr. Peter Anosike. Dr. Anosike, as usual, opinions are divided. I would like you to weigh into this conversation, especially the fact that, well, we have a youthful asset, the Igbo population, the youths who look up to role models like Obinna and the co, to say, well, this is the direction we need to face, and we are getting this kind of...
For me, I don't think if Obi Kubana is that popular.
Really?
Understand? I don't think if he's popular. If he's popular, his own brother wouldn't have failed the election in his own federal constituency.
Okay, so let's distinguish between popularity and influential. Now, he might be popular, but he might not be influential. Am I correct?
So, I don't think Obi Kubana should be the center of this discussion. Okay. I want to start with alignment.
With alignment, okay.
Right from 1960, there has always been alignment. NCNC and the MPC that had an alignment. Understand? MPP and MPN had an alignment because national election is all about alignment. Okay. Understand? That's what national election is. We have different tribes and different interests. Understand me? So, and politically, Igbos have not really done well. I have been very proud of the way Igbo people vote. We have been very consistent right from 1999. Understand? We have been going for the people that we feel are the better candidates. So talking about emotion, Igbos don't vote with emotion.
Now the point is this, that, okay, Igbos vote with emotions.
They don't vote with emotion.
You know why the people that, analysts that argue that Igbos vote with emotion is, when they don't like somebody, they don't like that person, they get emotional about it. And instead of looking at what they can get from the national pulse through that person, they say, oh, we don't like this person, and they shy away, Is that not emotions?
No. If Igbos vote with emotion, in 2003, Buhari ran with Chuba Okadibo,
okay,
our industrious son.
Okay.
But Igbos abandoned him.
Chuba didn't have the ticket. Chuba didn't have the ticket. It was Buhari that had the ticket.
But we had a son as the vice president who anything can happen and he becomes a president.
Okay.
Assuming Chuba would have been the number 2 citizen.
Okay.
Understand me? So, but Igbos know the capacity of Buhari. and rejected him even with our own industrial son. So that shows you we have always been objective.
Is that not emotional? They don't like him.
No. That this guy is better. No. That this guy is better. Even though that this guy is better, we are going with this person. Understand? In 2007, the same thing happened. In 2023, Igbos massively voted P2B because P2B was the best candidate.
Okay.
Understand? Assuming that P2B did not run and Oshibajo run, Igbos would have still done that same thing. So we go for the best candidate. Understand? Then talking of what APC is doing now, in 2023, P2B has no governor in the southeast.
Okay.
Understand? All the governors worked against him. Ibazo and Ifani Ugwani were with Nelson Wike, the integrity group.
The G5.
Yes. You know where Hope Ozadema is. You know where Sonudo is. And where, what's his name? Dave Omahi is. So the whole 5 southeast governors worked against him. Understand? And they were unable to affect his votes.
In the southeast.
In the southeast. So there's nothing that Obi Kubana can do. Already, Obi Kubana is having serious financial problems as we speak. People are complaining everywhere about him. So they are saying that this is to save himself from EFCC, DSS, and others.
Okay, more like he's trying to hide under the cover of the APC.
Because go to trade fair. Understand? He's owing a lot of people who have given him money for him that to supply them drink for more than 5 months ago.
No, Dr. Anosike, are you speaking on authority? Do you have evidence? Do you have?
I say go to trade fair. Go to Banogu in trade fair. That's where his main distributor is. Understand? So okay. They are seeing this as a way that EFCC and the DSS will not come after him. He may be popular among his own group. And again, this is what a lot of people don't know. Again, in 2023, prominent Igbo businessmen did not vote for P2B. Prominent Igbo businessmen, they said that P2B will not be good for business. That P2B is a due process person. That P2B is strict. That Tinubu will be better for business. Understand me? So Obi Kubana joining these people is not going to have any that much impact.
Okay, against
that if P2B
secures a ticket.
Sure.
All right, thank you very much. Now let's run back to Dr. Kash Onanuju. Dr. Kash, the analyst here, Dr. Peter Anosike, has raised a very concerning issue, and that is the fact that the 5 Southeast governors turned their back, on Peter Obi in 2023. Now we see a lot of gatherings, people gather in the APC, former Senate presidents, Ken Namani and Pius Anyim were in Enugu with other political bigwigs, and they said, well, we don't like the rascality of Peter Obi. They were very precise on that. So we don't like the rascality of Peter Obi. We don't want one man to come out and say, no, this is stand for Igbo presidency. Doctor, you are a historian, you are a researcher, and you run a center, that delves into historical antecedents of political issues and all of that. Are you able to let us into, do you know why Igbos, Southeasterners, are always the harshest critics of their own people, like what happened in 2023? If you go to Anambra State, the harshest critic of Peter Obi was Chukwuma Soludo, his state governor. Now we see another group emerge say, well, it is not yet time for Obi presidency, it's not yet time for Igbo presidency. Why is it that the Igbo nations are like that? We don't see other nations behave in that manner. At least to the best of my knowledge, I don't see Yorubas or Hausas walk stringently against their people. Why are we different as a people?
You're making a wrong analysis.
Okay.
You are taking the words of politically challenged persons and making that as general Igbo position. That's not true. If you see politicians who are challenged and they have to say certain things to gain acceptance, and then you don't calculate, you see them say it, and then you make it as if it's a general Igbo position. That's where you're the person who is wrong.
No, but doctor, these are the leaders and influencers in the Southeast.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's another mistake you're making. These are not influencers. You are the one who said it before, that despite them not being or supporting P2B, that the people went on to vote P2B. So how are they influencers?
No, I wasn't the one that said that. It was the analyst in the studio here that said that. I don't have an opinion on that.
That's why I'm hold on. Listen, you need yourself to be able to read things properly. These people you pointed at now, that the Igbos are autonomous people. They have autonomous mindsets. Good, that's true. That's why no matter what, anybody can come to them to pray, to canvass. They have their own mind, okay? And because they're autonomous, anybody can just on his own say anything he wants to say. It doesn't mean nothing. It's a personal opinion. When you see 3-4 politicians, those are their opinions. When you see certain people who gather together, those are birds of same feather. So if they are birds of challenged politicians, of course they will speak like challenged politicians. If it's people who are willing to castigate their brother in the marketplace, even though he will still go back home to that same brother later in some few hours, he will still behave in that way. But you will be wrong to now start attaching what they said to millions of Igbos who are on their own, very, very autonomous people in thought. You are just discussing now how Igbos are easy. You can get an Igbo man to come and criticize his brother, yet on the day of election, the man wins in a landslide in Igbo land. Doesn't that tell you something? What you're discussing, it shouldn't be. That some people have met some young Igbos to come and help become brand ambassadors in his political campaign. Does not mean the Igbos will follow those people. Who told you Soludo and Obi Kubana will sway the votes in Anambra against Peter? That's not possible. That's not possible. Peter represents a phenomenal historical figure who has now appeared on the political stage at the time young people seek a better country, and they know it is possible. But of course, the biggest problem also most people have in the country is the absence of courage. And that's why you see the weak go to embrace the existing order. Just like when you saw the Americans saw the truth about the killings, and they mentioned about the killings. You saw those who are weak, who wanted to work for the existing order, trying to go into overdrive, trying to deny it. As they were denying, the Americans ignored them, and we're landing soldiers here, and we're bombing in targets. What did we do? We kept quiet and we followed the Americans. Even though some of our people will still leave their homes and go to try to deny what is very visible to all eyes. So when you see people gathering because of they're afraid of Peter, it is an honest reaction to a historical phenomenon. Peter leads. He is the hope of those young people who seek a better country, which they believe, and I agree with them, it's possible. So you're going to have the status quo, the organized government of the day, try to buy friends, try to get audiences to listen to them, but they have to go make their game. Use Abuja as a test. P2B was going from market to market campaigning for his candidate, and suddenly the ruling party got afraid. Today, they set up a committee headed by the Senate President. Heavy campaign committee. They want to counter Peter in the field. they think that's what to do, because the old home is already. A lot of that will change now that the Americans are inside this country. If you don't, and you want to do the election like Venezuela, they could treat you the same way they treated Maduro. So it's not easy for us to continue our old behaviors now that the world have traveled into Nigeria, not on peace, no, on a war footing, because Nigeria failed to protect its citizens and their properties, and there was a jihad raging, and the government was in denial, and the world has come. So you need to understand a lot is going on. We as a country are at a place we have never been before since the amalgamation of the diverse people that make up today's Nigeria. And then they were put into a colonial entity, which later on the British tried to forge into a country. But of course, the Fulanis are resisting that, and as if the country has given up, but now the Americans have come to stop the Fulani war across.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Catch. Thank you very much. I'm happy that in the course of your intervention, you did admit that some people are meeting, people you described as the politically exposed, the politically challenged people, and they are meeting, they are making statements. So it's not as if it is Chukwu Makoro that made up these things. And you also say, well, they have the entitled to the opinion. As a matter of fact, it's good that you acknowledge that. So you don't create impression that I'm the one making up all of these things. Now, to my last question on this matter, what direction should the Southeast take in 2027? If you were in a position to offer advice, what direction do you will you ask the Southeast to take in 2027?
The Southeast has a lot of problems that they have seen. One, we should look for what will give us the best. You see, the greatest thing we have today is we also have in the arena a contest that also clinched the prize. He has shown it before, and that's the best thing that we have in this game. So what do you do with what you have? That is our game. With the coming of the Americans, what we have could just be viable, because the Americans will insist on free and fair elections. That's why you're seeing now the alliance in ADC seems very, very not so. Peter Obi seems firm on running for president as a candidate. That's why you're now seeing Atiku talking to other people, other prospects, because once Peter leaves, that alliance crumbles. He is a heartbeat of that alliance. And if we can have him on a ticket as a candidate, it will change the momentum. And that's why I tell you, for the Igbo, this is not the time to, no, the Igbos are watching. They are watching. The minute that their champion is now giving a jersey, look, they will go crazy. They will implode. They will just take it to the stratosphere. That's what they are playing. They are watching Peter, and it is because of their ways watching Peter. That's why whatever it is that Atiku thinks he had as a kind of understanding with Peter is now crumbling, because the Igbos are telling Peter he must run as a candidate. With Americans here, the chances are better. And if you are there, you could just win, because Tinubu will not be allowed to repeat Maduro's mistakes. Bear that in mind.
All right.
That's what we're going to.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Dr. Kaj. I like the point you brought us to, because I will segue into the next conversation, which is somehow related to the issues of ADC 2027 and all of that. But before we get into all of that, let's get Dr. Anosike's wrap on this matter. What direction should the Southeast take in 2027?
The same direction that you have been following since 1999.
Okay, which is alliance.
Which is voting for the best candidate, the candidate that will deliver on his campaign promises.
Can we go alone?
This is what we have. No, excuse me. Even if Igbos that can be mobilized. There's no state in this country that Igbos don't make at least 15% of the population.
Okay.
There's no state in this country that's, outside Igbo land.
Outside the southeast, yes.
That Igbos don't make at least 15% of the population.
Okay.
So the challenge is how to mobilize Igbos.
I was coming to that. Who will do the mobilization?
But we have an apex sociocultural organization, which has branches in all the states of the country. Understand? So these are the people, even though it is apolitical.
Okay.
But there's a way to send these messages. Understand? This is our own. Understand?
Yes.
And I cannot leave our own begin to do another person's own.
No, that is the worry so a lot of people share, because when you talk about mobilization, others have started mobilizing in the southeast, while the southeasterners are not doing anything outside. That is why a lot of people share concern.
They are waiting to see
where the pendulum swings.
Where the pendulum swings. If P2B gets ADC ticket, everything changes.
All right, now let's get into that. Former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, has urged the African Democratic Congress, ADC, to consider zoning its 2027 presidential ticket to the south. While speaking in Kano, the former Rivers State governor said the party should prioritize competence, age, and respect for Nigeria's unwritten power rotation principle. He argued that since power is currently in the south, the region should be allowed to complete its 8-year term before it shifts back to the north. Amechi warned that presenting a northern candidate in 2027 could make it difficult for the ADC to gain support in the south, where many believe power should remain. While expressing his preference for a southern candidate, he maintained that he will support whoever emerges as the party's flag bearer. He also reiterated his earlier position that he will be willing to serve a single term if he wins the ADC ticket and the general elections. Meanwhile, Bashir El-Rufai, son of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, electoral strategy. Dr. Katz, let me run back to you. The ADC seems to be the beautiful bride of the opposition, but amidst an internal wranglings about tickets. Do you think that ADC will move its ticket to the south in 2027? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think if they do not want the Atiku disease, which happened to the PDP, killed it, and now Wike is trying to finish it up. If they don't want to suffer from that Atiku disease, that's the ADC, they should respect zoning, because this is the foundation of the crisis we had with Atiku. That was why me and Dudu started the movement. The North had done 8 years. The political pendulum had been in the North for 8 years. Now that it is finished, that 8 years, the pendulum should now come to the South. Atiku refused. And that's how we started our disagreements, and we had that implosion, and today the PDP is dead. What it means is Atiku should understand that Nigerians seek to be included. Inclusion is very, very important in nation building. You see, Atiku became a Nigerian in 1961. He was born in German Cameroon. When Germany lost the Second World War, Cameroon was split amongst the French and the English. So the English did the plebiscite, and then they're part of Northern Cameroon. They ceded to Nigeria, and that's how Atiku became a Nigerian. Since then, he's gained inclusion to the extent he became a vice president of Nigeria. The North has done 8 years, allow the presidency in the South, so that you do not bring the affliction to ADC the same way you brought to the APC. So to the PDP, I am happy that Northerners like El-Rufai and others are speaking up, because you see, it was due to the silence of those leaders who knew the truth. They didn't say it. When they kept quiet, the PDP got into its death spiral and it died. And as you can see now, Wike is helping Atiku finish it up. So if ADC is not to suffer that PDP disease brought about by Atiku Abubakar, it has to zone its presidency to the south.
All right, Dr. Katz, let's play some political arithmetic here. We also know when Atiku visited Babangida during the week in Mina, and while he was there, Makinde met on the scene, and after their discussions, El-Rufai came up to tell us that, well, Makinde is angling to become Atiku's running mate in 2027, and that could put an end to Obi's candidacy because Makinde is going to donate 10 billion naira to that cause, and that Makinde is a likely choice because he's going to help divide the vote of the Southwest. Is that a possibility? So let us consider Atiku Amechi or Atiku Makinde or Obi Kwakwanso. Which of these tickets, which of these three segments do you think that is a likely, one that will emerge from the ADC?
It would be wrong to start following your wild speculations based on rumor. Atiku and Makinde met, but they never published any paper to say what they discussed. So I'm surprised that you are already, formulating things that some other...
Dr. Kash, I'm not the one formulating these things.
That some other loud mouths.
I'm not the one formulating these things. Ayo has been speaking, and anytime he speaks, after a while...
Ayo Fayoshe is not an authority on this issue. He was not in Mina. He did not see any bulletin, newsletter, or communicate that I did not see. So for you now to take the stories that he tells and start conjecturing that those are facts, those are not stories.
Dr. Kash, can I tell you something? Now, Makinde went to Aso Rock and met with Tinubu. Even before Makinde came out, El-Rufai said, well, this is what they discussed, and this is what is going to happen. And we saw that happen. When he went to Port Harcourt, he advised Fubara, don't do this, don't do this. Fubara didn't take his advice. And exactly what he advised him not to do, when he did it, the opposite happened. He's more like become a political prophet. So people are beginning to take him seriously. Maybe he has information. And that is why I'm asking, does it look like he might just be right when he says Atiku Makinde ticket? But you are trying to dismiss it. And like you said, I'm not the one that said it. It's El-Rufai that said it. I'm not formulating any theory here. Dr. Katz, are you there?
Okay. Yes, I am here, and I will tell you that you are still making things out of a man's words.
Okay.
I am not there, and they have also denied it, that those speculations are figments of imaginations, and I expected that to be. So I think we should just respect that. Okay. People met. You did not bug the place to tell me you bugged Babangida's house, and through that you have this. Leave those stories. You could even be surprised at my own thoughts about who Babangida is and who is working for.
Okay, can you share briefly with us? As you custom, can you share your thoughts briefly?
Those are private things. I keep it to myself.
Okay.
I have they are working. Okay. And so let's leave these political rumors. When it hits, it hits. So let's stick with the one we know. Not start speaking to speculations.
Okay.
Those things don't make sense.
All right, Dr. Katz, I'll come back to you. Okay, land on your thoughts.
What I'm trying to tell you is what Ayo is playing out, because he has seen Peter has gone to the scale of a candidate, not somebody who will work with Atiku to be VP. No. And he understands that. And that's why you're getting the conjectures. So I would want to advise that leave these conjectures and let us deal with issues when the people say them, not just to take.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Katz. I'll come back to you in a bit for your concluding thoughts. Let's return to the studio here, where we will still have Dr. Peter Anosike. Dr. Anosike, could it be that El-Rufai's son is flying a kite to feel the pulse of the nation, saying Atiku might not run in 2027? Is he flying a kite or what?
Well, a lot of things have gone wrong on the part of Atiku.
Okay.
These politicians P2B, Atiku Abubakar, and Tinubu, all of them are doing secret opinion polls. Understand? And P2B is leading among the youths. That's even the polls that Tinubu is conducting, the polls that Atiku is conducting. Understand? So, and the youths make over 65% of Nigeria population. Understand? So that thing alone is a discouragement for Atiku. Understand? Then his son joining APC. Understand me? That's also a very, very big distance on him, because if your son don't believe in you, is it an outsider that will now believe in you? Understand? So the issue is this: Atiku has done his best, and what Bashir, that's El-Rufai said, is an advice. Atiku is almost 80 now. Understand? One, he has a good health, but age, you cannot cheat age.
Okay.
Understand? So what you need to do, I have tried since 1993, it didn't work. Maybe God did not bring me to the earth to become a president. Let me now support somebody else. Understand me? So and from all indications, the moving train that ADC has is P2B. Amechi has already said that he's ready to support whoever emerges as the candidate. Understand? So, or the front runner, as we speak, is Obi. Understand me?
Okay.
So, but Fayose is working for his uncle, Bondamed Tinubu.
Okay.
And his mission is to make sure, is to be putting a spanner that's on the that's of ADC. That to make sure that the center does not hold.
Okay.
So this is a destabilizing information.
So we shouldn't take him seriously.
That's a fabricated statement.
But he said quite a few things that happened. Is that some form of coincidence or what?
It's a fabricated statement.
Okay, before I run back to Dr. Ononuju, I'd like for you to give us your concluding thoughts, because we are practically out of time.
Well, for me, 2027 presidency is still very, very open.
Okay.
It's not going to be a walkover. It's going to be keenly contested. And it's going to be different from 2023. Okay. What happened in 2023 will not happen in 2027. Understand? INEC is not going to be in anybody's purse in 2027.
Okay. Good to know. Now, back to you, Dr. Kach Ononuju. Can we have your concluding thoughts on the two topics that we talked about?
So Nigerians to know that 2026-27 will be like no year they have met. Since the British brought us together, since the British left, and we said we will govern what remained of Nigeria, we have never had a foreign power lodge itself into our country as Americans have done. So everybody should, despite there not being reports of killings, shootings, and everything, understand there is a big gang currently in our country, and things will never be the same again. Nigerians have not woken up to it. Some are joking. I also want them to understand that President Trump has not spoken to President Tinubu since Trump's talk that the U.S. will come to Nigeria. We have failed in all the things we were expected to do well. Our people have continued to die more from the work of these militias. So the Americans have announced the arrival of a company. That's the latest news. So these are the things we must see as very, very serious. They will affect our country going forward. It's not the old Nigeria. This is a different Nigeria. The Americans are here. So those who are thinking their calculations are based on somebody can just write results and I lie. even just write results and have peace. That's why you saw protesters came on the streets of Abuja some 4 days ago, 5 days ago, and nobody came to arrest them. The country will change. People will take to the street more to test what the government will tolerate and what the limits of the law will be for citizens to be free. So things have changed. I want to tell Nigerians that.
Things have changed. According to Dr. Cash, things have changed. Someone once told me that 2027 will be magical. Now we wait to see that magic in 2027. A few months away from now. Oh, well, this is where we have to draw the curtain on this show. I must say a very big thank you to you, gentlemen. We'll be speaking with Dr. Peter Anosike, philosopher, journalist, business consultant, and political affairs analyst. We also had Dr. Kachi Ononuju, historian, researcher, and director general of the Research Center in Abuja, who appeared on this show in the capacity of a political affairs analyst. Gentlemen, I must say a very big thank you to you. I appreciate your presence, and I hope that we can do this some other time. All right, then on behalf of the backroom staff, the technical director, bass manager, sound engineer, and the angels manager, I am Chukuma Okoro. Up next is Issues with Nana Ndemduto. I'll see you again on Monday, 8 o'clock on the morning show. Bye for now and enjoy the rest of your evening.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice. Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have